But if I get those 3 and 5. Proverbs 3 and 5.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5.
Come on.
Trust in the Most High.
Do what?
Trust in the Most High.
Trust in the Most High. That's your faith right there. Right. Man will say all kind of things to knock you off your course. Trust in the Most High. Do not trust in man. Everybody understand that?
God.
Read on.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Most High.
Read on.
With all thine heart.
Come on.
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
Don't say, well, you know, they ain't harming nobody. They're not bothering nobody every day, right? You start to justify going amongst this wicked feast, and they haven't seen the baby, and you know, when they're gonna get a chance to see the baby? I better go to the feast with the baby. And next, you know, pass me the gravy and the stuffing, right? Going on. Before you know it, you at the table going off because you what? You did not trust in the Most High. In the spirit of righteousness, you made excuses and leaned upon your own understanding, right?
Just real quick, what about people that make excuses for going the day after Thanksgiving to get them a plate?
I done heard it. I was like, what, really?
Because they suffer sin upon the people that set the feast. When they make it out to be good, we went over their scriptures. Said, woe unto you that call good evil and evil good. Right? When you come the day after the feast to scrounge the kitchen and they say,
see what's left.
Did he make that? Did she make that? Ooh, did she make that carrot? You know what I'm looking for. I tell people, listen, I eat turkey, or I would possibly eat turkey 364 days a year, right? 63. But in these 2 days, don't come near no turkey. I'm fasting from turkey, from candy yams, from stuffing. All right? We go down the whole line. So say I'm fasting from all those things on these next 2 days. So if I'm fasting, what do you have? You got nothing for me. So we don't have to have this conversation. Right? Because we don't just, I tell people, I don't just not celebrate Thanksgiving. I stand in protest against the celebrating of Thanksgiving, which is 2 different positions. One thing is I don't do that. You can do it, I don't do it. One thing is I don't do it and I'm against it. That's how we stand against all abominations, right? We are against that. So how are we going to take pleasure in it? How are you going to take pleasure in wickedness, right? Scriptures tell us, give me Sirach 19. There's a verse for everything. (19 and 5). Sirach 19 verse 5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19, page 81 in the Red Apocrypha. The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 5.
Read.
Whoso taketh pleasure.
Whoso what?
Whoso taketh pleasure.
Just make me a plate, man. I'm not going to beat it, but make me a plate. Read on.
In wickedness.
In what?
In wickedness.
I'll pick it up tomorrow, and you know, just make sure that you put the don't fall over, so don't make a mess. Read on.
Shall be condemned.
Shall be what?
Shall be condemned.
Be condemned. Don't take pleasure in wickedness. If you already called it wickedness, so it's not like you don't know it's wickedness. You didn't rebuke the I don't keep that Thanksgiving. All right, but make sure you put my stuff in a Tupperware and my gravy in a separate one so they don't get soggy. So when I pick it up, I'm not gonna pick it up. I'll pick it up right after Saturday. Enough days so you feel good about it. This is what we do. You know what I mean? Saying when I first came to truth, I did foolish things like that. I didn't know better. But when you do, you know what I mean? So that's what drives us to have these classes on wisdom. So elevate our righteousness. So our righteousness can exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Understand how to mentally be righteous. So that our faith can only follow a righteous path. We know in our spirit why we want what we want. We lost it. Right? You love whatever the case may be. You don't have to have that now. Right? Oh yeah, they sell turkey in the supermarket. Oh yeah, we walk right past it. But now when you go to the supermarket, you be like, damn, you know, I got a taste for it. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I got a taste for some turkey, man. Why do you have a taste for turkey? You got that demon on. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, do you know they sell eggnog in the supermarket all year? Yep. All year there's eggnog. Yep. No, it's in February. What? Yep. Right? In July there's eggnog in the cheaper. But I'm gonna tell you, you ain't gonna look at that eggnog starting at Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas. I don't feel like I can put some of that in some rum in that. I don't celebrate this, but we'll pick up some of this egg. That's how you start to realize the levels that Esau has programmed our mind to the point that our nose smells certain things. Our eyes, our minds start to focus on certain things at a certain time of the year because we're so programmed to follow his ways. We got to really look at our spirit and erase all that madness. And when we find something, rebuke that. All right? Some of us don't wear red all year long. All of a sudden, in December, red looks good with green. You would never wear red with green no time all year. But all of a sudden, you put on these green pants and you say, I can throw on these red shoes that look fresh. Don't you realize you got the holiday demon on you? You realize these things after you have analyzed and you meditate on changing your spirit, changing your mind, change everything about you. Right? You start fishing for stuff to change. You start to notice, oh, I still got some damn Edom inside. He has done a job on us. We analyze and we look into wisdom and we look into these commandments deeper. You know, that's why Solomon spoke so highly of wisdom, because it makes you look in a little deeper to something and say, you know, why do I want to do that? You know, why does green and red all of a sudden match in this time of the year, right? Why does turkey all of a sudden be something that you would like to eat, but all year you didn't want to eat it, right? All year you don't spark your grill. Here come the 4th of July. I don't celebrate it, but I feel like having some barbecue today. And you don't even realize that it's in your spirit. You know, it's in your spirit. Let's get it out of our spirit. Read that verse again. Sorry, read that verse again.
Sirach chapter 19, verse 5. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness, right, shall be condemned. He that resisteth pleasure, right? Resisteth pleasure.
He that resists the pleasure
foundeth his life.
There it is. We gotta resist that pleasure, man. There's stuff in that grave we probably taste. Ooh, wait, right? Resist that pleasure. Don't fool yourself to say, oh, that thing probably don't taste good. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That joint tastes real good, right? That butter, the biscuits is flaky. They melt it, right? You don't even have to chew. You just kind of it disappear in your mouth. Don't fool yourself to think anything different is happening at that table, but resist that pleasure anyway. Say, you know what? It's all that, and I don't want none of it. Okay. Because when you get used to that, you don't have to degrade something to resist it. You just make your mind up and say, I'm not messing with it. That's it. It'll help you in all your walk, and it's true. That you can resist something that's good to your flesh. You know? We don't give in to our flesh. That's the key of being spiritual. Not to give in to your flesh. A lot of us are spiritual until the flesh start calling, and then what? The flesh take over. Right? We have to be spiritual all the time. The flesh come ringing, man, I ain't picking up. I hear you. I smell it. I don't want it. Because I'm rolling the spirit right now. Right? See, he that walking at the spirit, mind the things of the spirit. Right?
Brother from Dawada Ramon of COI, Florida, he said government recalled 91,000 turkeys because of salmonella.
Salmonella, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many turkeys?
91,000.
With 91,000 turkeys being recalled, Walmart still packed with turkey. Publix still packed with turkey. And they recalled 91,000. Let you know what kind of how much turkeys.
Where they came from.
How much turkeys that they selling. How much millions. This is a grossing holidays when it comes to travel and produce and food, right? They make so much money off of travel and food that they gotta push and perpetuate it. And it doesn't surprise me that they got salmonella in these turkeys. Why? Because where there's supply and demand, supply and demand. If they know a big demand is coming, they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to get the turkeys grown and out that door. The bigger the better, right? They'll pump them full of all kinds of steroids and this and that. That thing be fully grown in 3 days. Turkey grows so fast, you see turkey come out, he just fully grown. You're like, what the hell was that? You watch that turkey just grow, boom. Because Esau moves off of supply and demand. He don't give a damn if there's not one vitamin in that thing. He don't care. There's no nutrients in it. He don't care about that. As long as you cut it and it's juicy and you put a lot of salt and seasoning on it to make it into something, hey, it's all good there. It's for the illusion of it. Right? But if they test that meat, there's probably nothing in that meat that your body can use. Right? A lot of these foods out here, especially when they're mass produced, they lack all the nutrients that food is supposed to have in it. Because they're not produced for the nutritional factor, they're produced for commerce, money. You know? Especially when these holidays come around, because they know it's a big demand, so they're gonna push all the little guys that's trying to sell turkey out, and they raise them right and they organic on. Come on, man. We gotta get these turkeys out there, man. 91,000 got recalled, and not one store is missing turkeys. Not one store is missing turkeys. Right? Okay, what store you go to? Trust me, they got turkeys. By the end of tonight or midday tomorrow, they're not gonna have no more. They have those scattered, people. That's how much they sell. But what kills me is that a lot of these people don't realize this is religion. That's a religious observance. So you actually, what in your mind is saying you have to kill this certain bird on this certain day? Right? When we have to go kill the lamb on the Passover, they look at us crazy. But why do you feel you got to have this dead bird on this day? What's the difference? The difference is the Most High told us to do this. Who told you to do that? You're following the religion of the so-called white man. All right? Let's take a little bit more of this article here. So now we're going to England, right? The slaves came, just to recap, those may have been online. They took the slaves from, well, not slaves. They took the natives from Massachusetts enslaved them and brought them back to Europe, right? They used a slave that they made into an agent to infiltrate the Wampanoag tribe and to get them to surrender, which they so comfortably called a treaty. But that wasn't no treaty when you're dealing with people killing you with smallpox, right? And with war. That's a surrender, okay? I'll read chapter 3 here. It says, but as word spread in England about the paradise to be found in the New World, religious zealots called Puritans began arriving by the boatload, finding no fences around the land. They considered it to be in the public domain. Joined by the British settlers, they seized lands, captured strong young natives for slaves, and killed the rest, But the Pequot nation had not agreed to the peace treaty Squanto had negotiated, and they fought back. The Pequot Wars was one of the bloodiest Indian wars ever fought, right? All praises for the Pequot tribe of brothers that wasn't going for this madness, right? Because they fought back, okay? They fought back, and they said what a bloodiest, so they killed some of the Mennonites, right?
Scouting.
You know what I mean? Actually, that whole scouting thing started from Esau first.
Yeah.
Because our forefathers, the natives, were known for their long, strong hair. Right? Their hair was so strong that they used to actually cut their hair and use it as ropes and to weave things and as, as a binding tool or whatever. That's how strong their hair was. If you know, Esau hair is straight, but it's very brittle. It breaks easy. Their hair was curliest, but it didn't break that easy. It was very tough, right? So they started scalping the indigenous, our forefathers' hair, and they would interlock it with their hair, as to say, "Oh, I killed this many." You know what I mean? And make an interlocking and show, look how much. And the more they had, the more they said they killed. It was like a sign of how many Indians that they killed. So they wore it as a badge of honor.
So when Dad and Ruben seen that, and that's when they started hitting numbers.
Exactly. They said, "Oh yeah, you want to get down like that?"
Revenge.
They started saying, "We want to show you how to scalp."
I heard they used to, like, when I looked it up, they used to take off like the whole skin off there.
That's what I tell you. They would rip the damn skin off there.
What shape people see, you don't
Yeah.
that, man.
Ruben and Ruben, Gad, and of course, it's all the 10 tribes. Simeon, they all were, in these lands. Issachar, right? They fought, man. They fought this invasion of Edomites, right? And this is how, people that debate whether the 10 tribes are, or so-called Israelites. It's like they ignore this history. When our slavery, when Esau caught up with us in Africa, at the same time, pretty much within the same amount of, the same period, they caught up with us in the Americas. To show you that the prophecy was going down on the whole nation of Israel at the same time. Okay? From the same enemy. So that's how we know through prophecy who we are. Right? The curses came upon them. They said, well, they didn't go into slave ships. Did you not read that history? Did they not go into slave ships? The only difference is the slave ship wasn't coming from Africa to America. It was coming from America to Europe. So they went into slave ships just like we went into slave ships. But they make these foolish comments because they don't know history. So you can't be dismayed by these, kind of ignorant doctrines. Because I call it doctrines of ignorance because it's because they don't know. That's why they say these things. A lot of times doctrines come up because there's a lack of knowledge. And they're just looking at one part of the breakdown and don't know the whole breakdown, right? On why we understand the natives of this land to be our people. Okay. When you see the whole picture, we're getting a big piece of the picture right now. They did go into slave ships. They were diseased and killed, and they fought and they lost because that's what happened. That's what the Most High said in Deuteronomy 28, that they want to wage war against us. He said, I will send an enemy against you. Right? I want to read the next chapter. In 1637, near present day Gorton, Connecticut, over 700 men, women, and children of the Pequot tribe had gathered for their annual Green Corn Festival, which is our Thanksgiving celebration. In the pre-dawn hours, the sleeping Indians were surrounded by English and Dutch mercenaries who ordered them to come outside. Those who came out were shot on or clubbed to death, while the terrified women and children who huddled inside the long house were burned alive. The next day, the governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving because 700 unarmed men, women, and children had been murdered. So that's what you're celebrating on Thanksgiving. The murder of your forefathers, their wives, and their children by the hand of your enemy. And we have the audacity to say, Happy Thanksgiving. Right? When it's not based on anything that is happy or that is, it's actually based in a massacre. Okay, so they were having the corn festival. This is a time where the corn was being brought in. And this is what they were, what we had to suffer. Okay. Cheered by their victory, the brave colonialists, and their Indian allies attacked village after village. Women and children over 14 were sold into slavery, while the rest were murdered. Boats loaded with as many as 500 slaves regularly left the ports of New England. Bounties were paid for Indian scalps to encourage as many deaths as possible. So more slaves now is going back to England from New England, which everybody knows New England is up in the Massachusetts area. That area is called New England. Okay. We see where this comes from. So anybody saying that the natives of this land did not go on slave ships, you're grossly mistaken. All right. But let's get, just because it's so on target, let's get Deuteronomy 28 real quick. And give me 40, 45.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45.
Read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee.
We're reading about these curses as we read about the history of Thanksgiving. Read on.
Till thou be destroyed.
Till I be what?
Till thou be destroyed.
Right, over 500 slaves taken, the rest were killed. They were killed with smallpox. They were being scalped. They were cutting their heads off. They were given reward and bounties for their heads. Right? They were being mass murdered and burned, clubbed to death and shot. Read on.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
right,
to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
And this is how we know that they are the Hebrew Israelites. Because those curses was upon them for a sign and a wonder. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon their seed. Why? Because what condition they're in today? They're still on the reservations. They're still fighting for justice. They're still fighting for what they feel their rights are. Right? A lot of people say, well, they own the casinos. Are you so dumb? When I hear people say that, I say, are you an idiot? You think the white man would give them their casinos? Right? There was something called a $2 Indian, right? Or $5 Indian, I think it was called, where they could spend $5 and they could get Indian put on their birth certificate because they knew they were about to give benefits, so they could look good to the other nations on the earth. Look what? Yeah, we did this to them, but look what we gave them. So the white man went around and put themselves as indigenous on their birth certificates. So they what? Is they giving it right back to themselves.
Yep.
What could you do?
What
could you do? Okay. Read on.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Most High thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
right,
which the Most High shall send against thee.
Come on.
In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
Come on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And that's what he did to our indigenous northern tribes of Americas, of the Western Hemisphere. He put the yoke on their neck, he enslaved them and destroyed them, just like he did to us. Read on.
The Most High shall bring a nation against thee
right,
from far.
Come on.
From the end of the earth.
Right, because they came all the way from Europe to the Americas. From what would seem to be the end of the earth, beyond the horizon. Read on.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
And they wore that eagle as their national bird. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Come on.
A nation of fierce consonants, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Right, how many said they burnt up the children? So we don't have to wonder who this enemy is. The prophecy tells us what our enemy would do so we can find him very easily. We don't have to go through no long genealogy. Right? We don't have to battle on who Esau is, who Edom is. It's clear what he was going to do on the earth, right? That he's our enemy, that he's going to murder us without cause. He's still doing it today. Okay? Why are we acting like we don't know? Why are we coming up with silly doctrine to breed doubt and confusion? That's all it is. It's a spirit of discord, all right, and doubt and confusion. This is clear. Read on.
Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle,
right,
and the fruit of thy land,
come on,
until thou be destroyed.
Until they what?
Until thou be destroyed.
When they came over here, they saw no fences. You know they said that? Because everything was common. We didn't have to put fences up. I know I didn't plant this vineyard. You don't have to put a fence around. I didn't plant your vineyard. So I know somebody planted this. I'm going to go find the person that planted it and make a deal with that person. But now what Colonia said, there's no fences.
It's ours now.
that means we can just take it, right? When you think like a thief, your mind is a thief. I remember when I first came to Florida, it's a joke. I always tell people this joke. I came to Florida. I'm coming from Brooklyn, New York. I'm coming from the hood. I came to Florida. I'm seeing bikes just laid out at the bus stop, no chain on it. It baffled my mind. I was like, well, are they giving this away? You know, to me, I had no reason why I couldn't get on this bike and ride away, right? To say, yo, because why? Your thinking, your thought pattern is wrong. I would have had no conscience saying, damn, I need a bike, I need to get up the road. Oh, well, here goes one, jump, and I'm out. Never thinking about who this belonged to. Because you had a different mentality, right? Coming from that grimy NYC, you had that was your thought pattern. If they didn't put a lock and key on this thing, then they didn't care if I took it away. Forget about, did I buy this? Did I own this? Does this belong to me? You know, is this, thou shalt not steal? All these things don't even cross your mind. It's like, oh, okay, they must be handing this away. Okay. To show that mind of a thief. So that mind was in Esau. He was a thief. He's a murderer, a vagabond, a pedophile, and a homosexual. And if he's not stopped, he's just going to continue doing all those things. Into it, he ain't going to stop. You can't change him. You cannot change him for what he's still the same. We're reading about history from what? The 1600s. We're in 2018. He's doing the same thing. We're still saying Black Lives Matter. We're still, counting the bodies. We're still, coming against him in the court of law, trying to plead with him to stop being a murderer. And he's trying to tell you, I'm a murderer. Right? This is what I do. I'm a killer.
He good at killing.
We keep asking him questions and then we mad he lied to us. But we know he's a liar. How you gonna be? It's kind of insane when we think about it. How you mad with a liar that lied to you when you knew he was a liar? You're like, what is your problem? Right? That's why Donald Trump was like, yo, you can't do worse than me. You might as well vote for me because at least I'm telling you I'm going to jack you up. Not like the rest of these jokers got you believing in pipe dreams. Right? He'll let you know I'm straightforward with it. Right? A lot of people didn't catch what he was trying to say. I'm not gonna do nothing for you. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing for you. At least I'm gonna tell you that. So you might as well vote for me. You had a point. Right? It's a good thing we don't vote. Read that.
Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land.
Come on.
Until thou be destroyed.
Come on.
Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind,
right?
Or flocks of thy sheep,
right?
Until he have destroyed thee.
Right. So he said he ain't gonna leave you nothing. He's taking everything. We live right out of this area. Is called Tater Town. Anybody know why this area is called Tater Town? Because it used to grow potatoes. This was potato fields. Right? Potatoes are usually grown in small fields. All over, a bunch of small fields, and they had their house and they grew potatoes. That's why they call it Tater Town. Right? He did not leave one tater. Right? He moved all that out of this area, put a gate around it, put a part for the trucks to come in and out, and now he brings it to the Walmart, and you got to go pay for it because you don't have no land to plant that down here. Right? We have our brothers up north; they got a farm and they're planting, and it's a beautiful thing to get the increase from the land and from the Most High God. That's when you truly getting yourself away from Esau a bit. When you get to yield your food from the ground, And of course, the way the system is set up, it's hard to totally separate yourself from him because he's such a master at imprisoning people. All right, because we read about him, you know, killing some and imprisoning the others. All right, he's a master of imprisoning. He got us in prisons that have no bars. He got us in mental prisons. All right, and we have to now break free. One more verse. Matter of fact, no, we're gonna drop that. All right, we're gonna start to wrap it in now. Give me St. John 6:44. St. John 6:44. So what is this lesson about? This lesson is called Pass the Gravy and the Stuffing. The reason why I call it that, because a lot of our people is going to sit at that table tomorrow and pass the gravy and the stuffing and never think of what they're really celebrating. Never cross their mind that they're celebrating the death of their foreparents. The brutality and the inhumanity that took place in this very land that we stand in. Okay. We shed light on these things to hopefully our people will hear this lesson and think differently in the years to come when this Thanksgiving time come around, and forsake these ways. Forsake Thanksgiving. Okay. Turn back to the Most High. Come back, ye children of Israel. All right. And keep God's commandments. Read that.
The book of St. John, chapter 6, verse 44. Come on. No man can come to me, right, except the Father which hath sent me draw him.
Right. So some people might not hear this word. We don't take offense, because the Most High got to draw you. The Most High got to bring you. Right? It's not in the hand of myself teaching the word or brother reading the word. It's in the hand of the Most High. But you come in and serve. Right? So that's the Most High draw you. Hold that. Give me St. John 10:27.
The book of St. John, chapter 10, verse 27.
Read.
My sheep hear my voice.
My what?
My sheep hear my voice.
And what they do? Read on.
And I know them.
And he what?
And I know them.
Most High knows who's going to keep his way. Read on.
And they follow me.
And they do what?
And they follow me.
So he going to, listen, some people are the sheep of the Most High, they're going to follow. Some ain't going to follow. Your job is to be the mouthpiece of the Most High. Speak his word. Read.
And I give unto them eternal life.
Right.
And they shall never perish.
And they shall what?
And they shall never perish.
What kind of gift, what did you get in this earth that can cause that to happen? Right? Only the Most High can give that gift of immortality. Shall never perish, never be without the Father. Okay, go back to 6:44. St. John.
The book of St. John, chapter 6, verse 44. No man can come to me, right, except the Father which hath sent me draw him.
Read.
And I will raise him up at the last day.
Come on.
It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of the Most High.
Right.
Every man, therefore, that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me.
There it is. Every man that heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me. Right? So we need to teach the word so that they can what? Hear. So that they can learn, so that they can come to the Father. The sheep gonna hear his voice. Those that are not his sheep, it's gonna sound like nonsense to them. They gotta get out of here with that. They're gonna keep it moving. That's right. You may not be the sheep, but don't worry about you. Right? We gotta concentrate on those that's hearing this word to build them up in the spirit, build them up in wisdom. That's how we have Wednesday wisdom. So we're built up and we're made a little bit stronger using the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Okay. We're going to end it off with the next set of verses. Give me Romans 8 and 38. We'll end it with that.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 38.
Come on.
For I am persuaded that neither death,
right,
nor life,
come on,
nor angels,
come on,
nor principalities, principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in the Mashiach Yahushua or Adawan.
And with that being said, all praise be to the power of Amos Jacob for his mercy and joy forever. The water for everybody that's logged on to Wednesday Wisdom. Continue to build up your wisdom. Continue to study to show thyself approved. Right? Don't fall for any turkey tricks. All right? Call a turkey, and don't be a part of anything that's involved in this holiday. Who we have online? Left online.
Oh, we had Mina, Bayaf, Gaiwada, Rabban, and this is the second live stream, so
Miami Boy was on.
yeah.
Right, so Kwame Sharala to all those that's logged in, the water for logging on Wednesday Wisdom. It's a pleasure and an honor to do this class and to share this wisdom with you all as you continue to build in the spirit and continue y'all's work.
Yana.
And Yona?
Yeah, I think, no, I don't think so. Yawana. Yeah.
All right, Yawana. You said Malachi was on there and Bayaf was on there.
Yeah.
The sister was on there too.
Who's that?
Sit over there. Go to small.
Is Simone?
Simone.
Okay, Simone was on there. Okay.
Miami Boy.
Abigail, right?
Miami Boy.
And Miami Boy was on there. All praises on it. Continue to study. Continue to show ourselves approved. Continue to move forward in the scriptures. With that, we're going to set up a prayer, the Lord's Prayer. And so I'm just going to read it in English.
Okay.
We're going to set up the Lord's Prayer, giving all praise to the Most High in the name of the Mashiach Yahushua. Only blow the horn.
I was about to say, we read it. It's already ready. Shut up.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Shalom to all those logged in.